What could I possibly be talking about in today's video? Stick around and find out. Man, it never fails. Every time I come out here into the garage to try and film an episode for you guys, because I know that you're just dying for this insane content that I'm putting out. Every time I come out here to film an episode, somebody fires up a weed eater or a lawnmower or a leaf blower or a wood chipper, a blender, something making margaritas out across the street. Ryan, if you're watching this video, watch yourself. Anyway, hey everybody, welcome back to Golf Test Dummy, the channel where I use my game to try and help your game. And today, I don't have to tell you anything that I've been working on, some drill I've been doing, some special way that I'm setting up, some swing video thing that I watched. I've got something. It's been a secret. It's been a top secret. You haven't known about it. You haven't noticed in my videos, even though it's been right there in front of you now for about 2 to 3 months. And I'm going to share it with you today. It's this whole summer thing, you know, we've tried it for a while. We've given it a shot. We've given it an honest, really good shot. And I think it's time to say, I think it's a failed experiment. I think it's time to just cut our losses and say, hey, the summer thing, it just didn't quite work out. I mean, bring on fall. Luke, I am your father. Today, in this episode, I've got something special for you. And as I said, I've kept it a secret for a while because I wanted to do an in-depth, long-term review, and I've put in almost 3 months now, and I want to reveal what the secret is. Let's see if you can spot it. All right, are you ready? Let's see if you can spot it. Here it comes. Are you ready? Be ready. You see it? Did you see it? Did you see it? I'll do it again. Hold on. Pay attention now. Here it comes. All right, you ready? No? Here we go. Okay, let's sit you down right here. We're gonna bring it in real close. All right? Are you ready? Huh? Let's talk about it. I've got some new irons. Now, I traded my old set of irons in, which was a set of Ping IE1s, which was kind of a re-release of the Ping I irons. It was almost a rebirth. Those were really good irons. I had them in a stiff shaft. I had them 4 through pitching wedge, I believe, in that set. Love those clubs. They were great, but I always felt like, you know, there was something else, maybe something out there that could help me a little bit more. Now, Dick's and Golf Galaxy, neither one of which are affiliated with this video in any way. I'm not getting paid one single dime, and I've never seen anybody do a review of these clubs on YouTube. So this, as of the time of this video, is a first. So anyway, with the trade-in value of the clubs that I had, plus a couple of other little odds and ends that I had laying around, these normally go for $499 for the stiff steel shafts. These are True Temper XP85. I'll be throwing some little photos and little specs and little blurbs and stuff up on the screen as we go. They come with a stock sort of crossline grip. This is a Tommy ARMOUR grip. It comes 5 through approach wedge. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pitching wedge, approach wedge. That entire set normally goes for $499. They were on sale for $399 when I found them, which they regularly go on sale for $449, sometimes $399, depending on what sort of deal they got going on. And with the stuff that I traded in, I paid $100. $100 for these irons, and I gotta tell you, they are the best set of irons I have ever owned. So when I first thought about making the jump and I thought about trading and getting these irons, I was like, man, what if they're terrible? What if they suck? What if I don't like them? What if they don't feel very well? What if they don't give me much feedback? What if they don't hold up as well as a name brand, a big name brand iron? Well, first of all, for all of you newbies out there, all of you young children that are just taking up the game, us old people, we know something about Tommy ARMOUR, and we know that the Tommy ARMOUR name used to mean something special. Tommy ARMOUR, the Silver Scott, just legendary golfer, Hall of Fame, one of the old-time players, had some of the best irons ever made. They were called the Tommy ARMOUR 845 Silver Scott irons, and anybody out there who played golf back in the 80s and the 90s, they know those irons because they were so popular, and they were widely considered to be some of the best irons ever made in the history of golf. Well, Golf Galaxy and Dick's, they've re-released, they've bought the rights to the Tommy Armour brand. They've been coming out with new renditions of clubs now for quite a while. They had the TA1s, I believe, a couple years back. I never tried those. The Atomic line, I never tried those. But now the 845s. They've got the 845, the 845 Max, and they've got the 845 Forged. The 845s, which is what I have, is the middle of the road, and those have basically a normal size head. They've got a good top line profile on them. It's not too overpowering. It's not too thick for all of you players out there. I was pretty worried in the beginning. I did try it out in their simulator at Golf Galaxy, so I did get some sense of what was going on with the ball flight, with the trajectory, with my distances, with my grouping, and I did see some promising things there. However, as with any new set of irons, it's not going to be a magic pill. It's not going to be a magic bullet. It's not going to cure you overnight. And the first time you pick it up and you hit shots with it, you might have some that are really great and you say, oh, this is fantastic. It's an instant fix. But generally speaking, any new clubs are going to take you some time to get used to. And in that vein, if you're going to pull the trigger on some new irons, you've got to see something promising coming out of the short amount of time that you've had with them working in a simulator at the store. But I got to tell you, these are by far the best set of clubs I've ever owned. There's nothing about these irons that is subpar construction. None of the materials that they use, none of the design that they've created here is anything short of what the big brands are doing. And when you look at something like this in the store, you think, well, this is like half the price of those, so it can't be as good, and nothing could be further from the truth. The feel is great. I picked up probably a club to a club and a half with these irons over all kinds of other irons that I've tried. And I know a lot of people would say, well, that's just due to the aggressive lofts, which I'll put up on screen now. But let me tell you, I used to be one of those people saying, they're just getting more distance because they're cranking the lofts down on these things. But what they're also doing is lowering the CG. With all of the design and the engineering going into today's clubs, they're not only able to lower the launch angle, or at least lower the loft of the club, but they're able to get the CG, the center of gravity, down lower in the clubs, getting you a higher launch with less spin, ergo more distance. Now, My Golf Spy, which is a pretty big website, they actually did a review of these, but there's no video to it. It's just an online sort of blog that you can read where they did a review of these. They did an in-depth review, and everybody knows that My Golf Spy is just an excellent company. It's an excellent source to get real information, unbiased information. And they said that a lot of amateurs, they made this point when you're talking about the stronger lofts. Most amateurs add lofted impact anyway. They don't have that forward shaft lean. So if you take something like a 37-degree club, amateurs actually will make that like a 40-degree club, whereas pros would make that more of a 33, 34-degree club. So when you're strengthening the lofts on these, you're basically giving it to an amateur, an average golfer, and they're going to come out with the sort of launch angles that they're supposed to have anyway, not to mention the fact that the lower center of gravity in these helps the average player get it up in the air. Now let me just say this, clubs in general, nothing that you buy is going to fix your game. You still have to put club on the ball, you still have to golf your ball, you still have to develop your skills, your short game, your long game, off the tee, putting, all of that stuff. It's not going to be an easy fix. However, for somebody like me, I have struggled with distance. This is the first set of clubs that I've bought that actually made a difference. It actually made a difference in my distances. I gained at least a club, probably more like a club and a half with these irons. If you're having trouble with that stuff, these are super forgiving, but they're not so forgiving and so huge and blown out of proportion that you can't feel what's happening. There's a tungsten weight in the toe. It's a two-piece hollow construction. I mean, the feel coming off of these is butter. And if you don't catch it correct, if you catch it thin, if you catch it fat, if you hit it on the toe, I feel exactly where I hit it on this club face all the time. So as somebody who has played forged clubs before, let me just say that you're giving up very little, if any, with feel on these clubs. They are at least half the price of the big name brands that are out there that are just own in the market. And the driver is normally $2.99. This week I saw it on sale for $1.99. Now with the Dick's and the Golf Galaxy Rewards program, you take in your old clubs, you trade in something, maybe with the rewards and the trade-ins, maybe you end up getting some of this stuff for really dirt cheap. They actually gave me pretty good value on my clubs when I traded them in. I did not expect to get a decent price like I did. Look guys, I'm all about deals. You know me, you know I'm cheap. You know that I'm not gonna pay retail for anything. You know that I'm not gonna go out and pay $1,300 and $1,400 for a new set of irons, or $600 for a new driver, or $500 for a new set of wedges. It's just not gonna happen. But that doesn't mean that I don't want clubs that I can rely on out on course to help me out and to still feel good and to play well, perform well, and to last me a long time. I still want good quality stuff. So I'm either buying used, name brand stuff, or I'm looking at brands like this that are putting in the work, that are putting in the technology, and they're building quality products, but they're doing it way cheaper than all the big boys out there. At least the fan kind of drowns out the weed eater. I appreciate you guys, all the support that you give me on this channel. Thanks so much for sticking with me. I'm always trying to help you out, finding you deals, finding better ways to play golf, finding just easier ways for all of us to drop our scores, have more fun out on the golf course, and get the most out of the game.